Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. My two childhood friends once again threw me off the carriage for the sake of the female lead. My brother, His Majesty, was enraged and decreed their deaths. He knew I adored them and permitted me to choose one to be my prince consort, thereby sparing him from execution. As I struggled with the decision, bullet comments appeared before my eyes. Why is the damn side character staring at Lord Zhang? He's the top scholar of the empire. What could he possibly have in common with an airheaded princess like her? While he and the female lead are reciting poetry, all she does is eat mung bean cakes. Marrying her would ruin the rest of his life. Lord Zhang would rather die here today. Young Lord Song is burying his head so low it nearly touched the ground. He'd rather lose his head than have the female lead misunderstand. He's praying the damn side character doesn't pick him. I snapped my head up. Sure enough, one was avoiding my gaze and the other was staring fixedly at the ground. Side character. Look at your restrained and patient brother. The unhinged emperor has been in love with her for 10 years. Whoever she picks today, he'll kill. The moment she actually chooses, she'll end up with her eyes losing their focus by nightfall. I whipped my head around. High on his throne, a smile played on the emperor's lips. His gaze, deep and dark as ink, was fixed on me like a wolf with its jaws locked on my throat. It was because I hadn't prepared the peach cakes he liked. My two childhood friends had thrown me out of the carriage halfway through the journey. I had to walk for 5 hours to get back to the palace. When His Majesty learned of this, he was furious. Zhang Linghu and Shan Xiao knelt on the ground, their backs ramrod straight. When the death decree was announced, the color drained from both their faces. We know you adore them both. Choose one to be your prince consort, and we shall spare his life. But I didn't want to harm either of them. I looked at them hesitantly. As I struggled, rows of bullet comments floated before my eyes. Are you kidding me? To marry one of them? The damn side character actually had the emperor threaten them with their lives. Zhang Linghu and San Xiao are both in love with Xiao Wan'er. They'll surely choose death over submission. Then the side character won't be able to bear seeing them die, and will definitely plead with the emperor. Is the damn side character actually making a choice? Doesn't she know they both find her to be bad luck? Can the side character please not choose Zhang Linghu? He needs a wife who can discuss the past and present with him, not a princess who is like playing a lute to a cow. I remember in the last life, the side character chose Zhang Linghu. After they married, he spent every night in his study. Later, he simply moved out of the manor to live with Xiao Wan'er. The side character eventually died of depression. When she died, Zhang Linghu was with Xiao Wan'er as she gave birth. Reading the comments, the pain was suffocating. I subconsciously looked toward Zhang Linghu. He thought I was about to choose him and frowned immediately, bowing to the emperor. Your Majesty, this subject's heart already belongs to another. I cannot marry Princess Yunnan. I am willing to accept death to atone for my offense. Was Zhang Linghu not afraid of death? Of course he was. At first, he had worried that the emperor was genuinely angry. But upon hearing that the princess was to choose a consort, his expression instantly shifted to one of I knew it. Tinged with impatience, the princess would stop at nothing to marry him. She even had the emperor feign a death sentence to force him to submit. Zhang Linghu's words were like a dull blade being brutally twisted into my heart. I shifted my gaze to Xiao. In his last life, San Xiao never married for Xiao Wan'er's sake. He would rather defy an imperial edict than marry the side character. He raised Xiao Wan'er's child as his own, willingly using his family's power to protect mother and son. According to our dynasty's laws, a mistress cannot be made the official wife. Xiao traded his military achievements to allow Xiao Wan'er to marry Zhang Linghu and become the top scholar's wife. Xiao lowered his head in disgust, clenching his left fist as he bowed. Your Majesty, this subject also has someone he loves. I beg your Majesty to punish me. My fingertips dug into my palms, my heart feeling as if it were being pricked by needles. My imperial brother didn't even spare them a glance. He gently prompted me, a faint smile on his lips. Yunnan, have you decided who will be your prince consort? The moment I spoke, Zhang Linghu and Xiao both looked at me, their expressions tense, terrified of being chosen. My gaze had merely lingered on Zhang Linghu for 3 seconds. He lowered his eyes dejectedly, a layer of ash seeming to settle over them, extinguishing their usual brilliance. Side character: don't choose Zhang Linghu. He can only be truly happy with Xiao Wan'er. My heart aches for Zhang Linghu. The moment he felt the side character's gaze, the light in his eyes just vanished. Zhang Linghu was so close to being with Xiao Wan'er. They even exchanged love tokens last night, but the side character just had to interfere. If it weren't for her status as a princess, San Xiao would find even speaking to her disgusting. But the damn side character is completely oblivious to how much they loathe her. So neither of them had any feelings for me at all. Just as I was about to tell my brother that I wanted neither of them, the bullet comments grew even more frantic. Idiot. Does she really think the emperor is letting her choose a consort? Side character. Hurry up and look at your brother who has been restraining himself for years. The unhinged emperor has been in love with her for 10 years. Whoever she picks today, he'll kill. There's a basement in this hall. The moment the side character chooses a consort, she'll be locked in there by nightfall, and she'll end up with her eyes losing their focus. It's fine if the side character gets locked up. Let the other 3 live their lives in peace. I whipped my head around to look at my brother. High on his throne, his eyes were fixed on me, deep and dangerous. The bottom of his long, cool eyes was filled with profound darkness. My brother had been in love with me for 10 years. Didn't that mean he has since the year I first came to the Empress Dowager's side? I am not of royal blood. When I was 8, my father was ordered by the emperor to manage the floods in Lingen. He was caught in a flash flood when a dam collapsed and was swept away. His body was never recovered. Upon hearing the news of my father's death, my mother died of a broken heart. The emperor, filled with guilt, made me a princess and entrusted me to the care of the empress, now the Empress Dowager. Although my brother and I grew up under the Empress Dowager's care, he was learning to handle state affairs from a young age and was often so busy I wouldn't see him for half a month. We weren't particularly close. How could he possibly be in love with me? I suppressed the chaotic thoughts in my mind and said to my brother, I don't want either of them anymore. I don't like them anymore. What's going on? Why did the side character suddenly not choose anyone? Don't tell me she knows about the basement. I think this is her new way of playing hard to get by saying she doesn't like them anymore. She's trying to provoke Zhang Linghu and San Xiao's possessiveness. She's miscalculated. Zhang Linghu and San Xiao can't wait to use this chance to cut ties with her. The emperor raised an eyebrow, seemingly surprised by this answer. It seemed the things in the basement wouldn't be needed for now. Zhang Linghu, still kneeling, visibly stiffened. Thinking this might be another one of my tricks to seduce him, he lowered his head and said nothing. The emperor tapped his knuckles twice on the sandalwood table. His smiling eyes held a hint of inquiry. Why not choose? Is it because you like them both and can't decide? Do you want us to bestow both of them upon you? The blunt comments left me shaken. I chose my words carefully before speaking. The top scholar and the young lord have already given their hearts to another, and that person is not me. Even if you were to decree a marriage, a forced union would not bring happiness. In that case, what use would I have for them? So you plan to take it slow, make them fall for you, and then have us decree the marriage. Why did his tone sound so gloomy? No, imperial brother. Today, when Zhang Linghu and Song Xiao threw me out of the carriage, I had 5 hours of walking back alone to think. I've accumulated enough disappointment. I suddenly don't like them anymore. Zhang Linghu hadn't expected me to say such a thing, and an indescribable emotion welled up inside him. Sunga, kneeling on the floor, sneered, clearly not believing a word. My brother sat on the dragon throne, his tone calm but carrying a suffocating pressure. Since the princess chooses neither, then let the decree be carried out. Zhang Linghu and Song Xiao have offended the princess, a crime of insubordination and disrespect to the imperial family. Execute them immediately. A eunuch brought over the poisoned wine. Gentlemen, if you please. Zhang Linghu's eyelids twitched. He looked up at me, a mocking smile tugging at his lips. You win, princess. I looked at him confused. Didn't you do all this just to see me compromise? Weren't you waiting for me to be cornered, so I would beg you to plead with His Majesty on my behalf? You've won. Can you please plead for us now? That vicious side character should just die. She wants to shatter Zhang Linghu's pride and force him to beg her. How is that any different from killing him directly? Even if the side character uses imperial power to force Zhang Linghu to marry her, she'll only get his body. He will remain faithful to Xiao Wan for his entire life, and will never fall in love with the side character. I'll be so happy when the side character dies, childless and depressed, just like in her last life. I frowned slightly. I did not. If you think I'm forcing you, then I can leave right now. I'll come back after you've drunk the poison. What the hell is the side character saying? Has her body been taken over by someone else? That's her beloved Zhang Lingyu. I don't believe the side character would actually dare to leave. She must have seen Xiao Waner riding back in the same carriage with them and gotten jealous. She's using this method to force Zhang Lingsu to coax her when Zhang Lingyu coaxed Xiao Waner a few days ago. It was a sweet moment between them. The side character is actually trying to compete. She should see if Zhang Lingyu is even willing to coax her. How ridiculous. Zhang Lingyu's face turned ugly. Princess Yunnan, can you please stop making a scene? I had no desire to deal with him any longer. I looked at my brother. If there is nothing else, your sister would like to return to her palace. The emperor's expression was serene, but a hint of a smile flashed in his eyes. I curtsied and turned to leave. Outside the door, Xiao Waner, who had been forced to her knees by the guards, broke free and ran straight into the hall, colliding with me. Princess, I implore you, please save Lingyu and Xiao. I am willing to step aside for you. I will leave the capital forever and never appear before them again. Zhang Lingyu's brows furrowed, and he spoke with immediate urgency. Waner, this has nothing to do with you. Get out of here. Xiao Waner shook her head gently, her tears making her look utterly pitiful. You are in this situation because of me, your highness. I beg you to plead with the emperor. I am willing to drink this poison instead. I stopped and sneered. Very well. Since you wish to take the blame for this crime of insubordination, this princess will grant your wish. Eunuch Li, give the poison wine to Miss Xiao. Eunuch Li cast an inquiring glance at the emperor. Seeing His Majesty nod in approval, he turned the tray of poisoned wine in a new direction. Miss Xiao, please. Xiao Waner froze, her mouth opening and closing without a single word coming out. Did I see that right? Why did Xiao Waner freeze like that? It's like she had no intention of drinking the poison for them at all, just making a polite offer. So, I wasn't the only one who saw it. Did Xiao Waner think the princess would plead with the emperor like she did before? And her offer to drink the poison was just to take the credit, but she didn't expect the princess to actually let her drink it. What nonsense are you spouting? Who isn't afraid of death? Waner may be the female lead, but she's still a normal person. Can't you let her be scared for a moment? This is clearly the damn side character's fault. So why blame Waner? If she hadn't clung to them using her status as a princess, the three of them would have been living happily long ago. How could they have ended up in this life or death situation? Sangao watched as the 2 cups of poison wine were placed before Waner. Veins bulged on his forehead as he struggled to get up. Waner, don't drink it. I forbid you. He glared at me, his voice sharp. Yunnan, if you have a problem, take it out on me. Don't you dare harm Waner. But he was no match for a dozen guards and could only be pinned to the floor. Zio Waner's crying was heart-wrenching. Lingyu Xiao, to have met you in this life and become your dearest friends. I have no regrets. I hope we can meet again in the next life. She raised a hand to take a cup, but it trembled and paused in midair. Zhang Linghu looked at me, his voice tinged with compromise. Princess, this subject is willing to marry you. Can we please let this matter rest? This was the first time I had ever seen such panic on Zhang Linghu's face. Does the damn side character have to tear Zhang Linghu and Xiao Waner apart to be happy? It's not the first time she's been thrown from a carriage. She only walked for 5 hours and she wasn't even hurt. Does she really need to cause a death to be satisfied? After Zhang Linghu marries a woman he doesn't love, he will never be happy again for the rest of his life. A love cherished by all 3 of them is being torn apart by the side character. It was never one-sided. Zio Waner was willing to drink poison for them, and Zhang Linghu and Xiao were willing to marry the vicious side character for her. Just then, a guard entered to report that Prime Minister Zhang and Dukong were seeking an audience. Xiao Waner quietly breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness she had sent her maid to deliver the message. The two men entered and knelt directly on the floor, the backs of their official robes soaked through with sweat. Duke said, "Your Majesty, this subject has failed to raise his son properly and deserves 1,000 deaths. I beg your Majesty to spare his life, considering he is my only son. I am willing to surrender my military authority." Prime Minister Zhang added, "This subject is willing to trade his official position. I will resign and retire, never to meddle in court affairs again." The emperor glanced at them coldly, his brow conveying an unchallengeable resolve. So be it. As for those 200 strokes of the cane, I mused to myself. So my brother's real goal was to reclaim their military power. While I was lost in thought, the hall emptied until only the two of us remained. He half closed his handsome peach blossom eyes. Reclaiming their military power was merely incidental. My main purpose today was to vent your anger. I froze. Could the bullet comments be true? I gave a slight nod. After that day, I never sought out Zhang Linghu or Sangao again. 2 months passed in a flash. One day, after dining with the Empress Dowager, I was strolling through the Imperial Garden. I thought about how my brother had been visiting me every day recently, showering my palace with all sorts of rare treasures. The bullet comments had gone completely wild, growing increasingly risque, filled with nothing but suggestive remarks. I couldn't help but seriously contemplate my relationship with my brother. The sight of my frowning face was misinterpreted by the bullet comments. Looks like the side character is about to lose her patience and go find Zhang Lingsu and San Shao. Seeing how resolute she was that day, I really thought she had given up. How could she? The side character even gave Zhang Ling her family heirloom jade pendant. She was just throwing a tantrum to get attention, but she didn't expect Zhang Ling not to care at all. Haha. The female lead has been taking care of them both during this time. The three of them bought a courtyard in Kingu Lane and are already living together. They're living quite comfortably. The female lead better not go and ruin their lives. Seeing this comment, I remembered that this was indeed true. A few months ago, Xiao Wan'er had been clinging to Zhang Lingsu day and night. To assert my claim, I had forced Zhang Ling to wear the jade pendant. No, I had to get it back. I took my maid Xiaokeo and left the palace, following the directions from the bullet comments to Qingyu Lane. What the hell? How does the side character know they live in Qingyu Lane? Given her possessiveness over Zhang Lingsu and Sangao, she must have had people watching them all along. It's no surprise she knows where they live. I wondered how long the side character could hold out. See, she couldn't wait to come looking for them again. I pushed open the gate. The courtyard was filled with well-tended flowers. Zhang Lingsu was in the kitchen making peach cakes for Xiao Wan'er, while Sangao was practicing his swordsmanship. Hearing the gate open, all three of them looked over. Zhang Ling's brow furrowed. Ignoring the fire still burning in the kitchen, he stepped in front of Xiao Wan'er, his tone aggressive. "Didn't you say you don't like me anymore, princess? How did you find out Wan'er and I were living together? And what are you doing here again?" I pointed to the cloud-patterned gold-beaded jade pendant hanging from his waist and smiled faintly. "Since you and Xiao Wan'er have pledged your lives to each other, I've come to take back my jade pendant. It was a keepsake from my mother. She told me to give it to the person I wanted to spend my life with. Did I hear that right? Isn't the side character here to apologize? Why is she asking for the jade pendant back? She's just trying to get Zhang Lingsu's attention if he really gives it back to her. The side character definitely won't dare to take it. The damn side character is being stubborn again. If she just said a few soft words, Zhang Lingsu would forgive her." Zhang Lingsu was visibly stunned. "How did you know? Was that why you said what you did before the throne that day?" Xiao Wan'er walked over gracefully and linked her arm with his, her voice gentle. "That night under the moon and flowers, Lingsu and I did indeed pledge our eternal love. Thank you, princess, for being so gracious." She curtsied to me. Zhang Lingsu remained silent, his expression grave, his lips pressed together in thought. My face was impassive. If that's the case, then return the jade pendant to this princess. Disbelief filled Zhang Lingsu's eyes. He curled his lip in a sneer. "Aren't you tired of acting, princess? This time to force me to yield. You're even willing to ask for the pendant back." I saw he had no intention of removing it. I stepped closer, grabbed the pendant and yanked it off. Zhang Lingsu's face instantly turned ugly. You took this back yourself, princess. I won't be wearing it again in the future. I swept my gaze over the three of them, my voice turning cold. You are no longer worthy of wearing this pendant. From this day forward, I will no longer chase after you. We have nothing to do with each other anymore. Ignoring the three ugly faces behind me, I turned and left. In the Golden Throne Hall, Shi Wuan had just emerged from the basement. When he heard the guards report that I had left the palace to find Zhang Lingsu, the air around him instantly grew heavy. A smile touched his lips, his deep voice echoing in the vast hall. Yin, you're being naughty again. I hadn't walked more than a few steps from Zhang Lingsu's place when I was knocked unconscious from behind. The damn side character is finally locked in the basement. No one will disturb the three of them anymore. So exciting is the famous eyes losing focus scene about to happen. I thought the side character had escaped the basement after avoiding the consort selection. I didn't expect the unhinged emperor to order his secret guards to capture her the moment he heard she went to find Zhang Linggu. The side character's days are about to get very difficult. It was pitch black all around, with only a sliver of light seeping through a crack. So this was the basement Zuyan had prepared for me. The bullet comments appeared, and I sneered inwardly, though my face remained calm. Imperial brother, is that you? How does the side character know it was the emperor? Shouldn't the normal reaction be that she was kidnapped? Don't tell me the side character knows about the basement. Why does it feel like she's playing along? How is that possible? The basement might be dim, but if you look closely, you can still see the unhinged emperor sitting by the bed. The words had barely faded when I was pulled into a powerful embrace. A fierce kiss landed on my lips as if trying to merge me into his body. In that instant my mind went blank. I could feel nothing but the touch on my lips. Shi Wuyan's eyes were pitch black, and the entire space was filled with a suffocating pressure. He demanded. Didn't you say you don't like him anymore? Why did you go looking for him again? You lied to us again. I frowned in confusion. I had no time to dwell on it. I quickly pulled out the jade pendant. I went to get the pendant back from Zhang Linggu. It was left to me by my mother for my future husband. Since I no longer like him, I naturally had to retrieve it. Shi Wuyan's body went rigid, as if he hadn't expected this. His thin lips pressed together tightly, his back as taut as a fully drawn bow. Now it was my turn to pout. A mist formed in my eyes. Imperial brother, where is this? It's so stuffy I can hardly breathe. Can you carry me out of here? The moment I finished speaking, the atmosphere in the basement dropped several degrees. Shi Wuyan didn't answer immediately. He stared at me for a long time, as if torn between letting me go and imprisoning me here forever. I reached out and gently tugged his sleeve. Imperial brother, can we go out? After a long pause, Shi Wuyan's voice finally came, slow and deliberate. All right. He stood up, his movement slightly stiff, and lifted me into his arms, walking toward the exit. What's going on? Where's the famous scene I've been waiting for? The side character just brushed past such a thrilling moment with a few sentences. No way. No way. The side character got out of the basement that easily. That can't be right. The unhinged emperor can't be placated so easily. I felt something was off for a while. Do you guys think the side character can see the bullet comments? I was sitting on the dragon throne. Shi Wuyan was carefully applying ointment to the spot on my lip he had just bitten. His expression a little unnatural as he looked at me. Yunyan, that place just now is where I like to be alone. Don't be afraid. I was just... Imperial brother. I'm not afraid. I know you would never hurt me. With that one sentence, the side character had the emperor grinning from ear to ear. The emperor is such an actor. What place does he like to be alone? He goes to that basement every day to look around, imagining in his head 1,000 times over in what position and how he would be with the side character. Eunuch Li entered to report. Your Majesty, the Empress Dowager invites you and the princess to dine with her. As he looked up, he saw me sitting on the dragon throne, his heart filled with shock. In Shaoqing Palace, I kept my head down, taking small bites of the food before me. The Empress Dowager's gaze shifted between the two of us, and she couldn't help but laugh. What's wrong with you two? You usually have endless things to say when you dine with me. Why are you both so quiet today? And Yunnan, what happened to your lip? I tightened my grip on my chopsticks, trying to bluff my way through. Your Majesty, the imperial physician said I've been a bit overheated lately. Is that so? The Empress Dowager glanced at Shi Wuan, smiling knowingly without exposing him. I heard you no longer fancy those two boys from the Zhang and Song families. Yes, Your Majesty. You've reached a marriageable age. I have a nephew handsome and of good character. How about I arrange a marriage for you? What do you think? Before I could speak, Shi Wuan cut in. Absolutely not. Shunjai is obsessed with martial arts and dreams only of going to war. He has no interest in settling down. If Yunnan were to marry him, wouldn't she be left all alone? The Empress Dowager shot him a disdainful look. Then I have another nephew full of talent, gentle as jade. Yunnan would surely like him. I'll have him come to the palace tomorrow so you two can meet. How about it? Absolutely not. That nephew of yours, Mei Xiangkai, is utterly obsessed with ancient texts and poetry. He once publicly declared his wish to spend his life with books. He is even less worthy of Yunnan. Tusk, tusk, tusk. This one's no good. That one's no good. Your Majesty might as well just tell the Empress Dowager that he and the side character are the perfect match. The Empress Dowager clearly sees that the Emperor likes the side character, and is deliberately provoking him. The Empress Dowager looked at him with an expression of someone thoroughly enjoying the drama. The Emperor cleared his throat twice and explained, You won't have time to meet your nephew in the coming days. Envoys from the western regions are coming to court, and I plan to entrust the banquet preparations to Yunnan. I looked up stunned. Me? But I don't know how. The Emperor raised an eyebrow. You'll have to learn sooner or later. Let's start with this. The Empress Dowager understood perfectly and didn't expose his little scheme. Hosting foreign envoys was typically the Empress's duty. He had been on the throne for years, yet his harem remained empty. In the past, she had always helped with these matters. It seemed now the boy wasn't even trying to hide his feelings for Yunnan. Ever since I took back the jade pendant, Zhang Linghu had been feeling extremely flustered. A few days later, at the palace banquet for the envoys, he suddenly blocked my path. Why haven't you come to see me lately? Has Lord Zhang developed amnesia? This princess has nothing more to do with you. Why should I come to see you? Hearing this, Zhang Linghu's brow furrowed. Yunnan, I've been waiting for you to apologize to Wanner. I felt as if I had heard the most absurd joke. Lord Zhang should focus on his official duties. This princess has heard that since the Prime Minister resigned, your position in the Hanland Academy has become merely nominal. A flash of embarrassment crossed Zhang Linghu's face. He sighed and reached for the jade pendant at my waist. Stop this, Yunnan. I know you were upset that day when I made you leave the carriage, but I clearly had a servant inform you that Wanner gets carriage sick and asked you to prepare more of her favorite peach cakes. You deliberately didn't, and I was angry, which is why. I'll put the pendant back on now so my little jealous kitten won't be angry anymore. I took a step back, dodging his outstretched hand, and snapped, Insolent! Who gave you permission to touch this princess? And for the record, no one told me about any peach cakes. Even if I had known, there would be no reason for this princess to prepare them for Xiao Wanner. The side character isn't letting Zhang Linghu touch the pendant. You have to remember last time she had to half coax, half threaten him just to get him to reluctantly agree to wear it. What an act. Zhang Linghu came to her on his own initiative. The side character must be ecstatic inside. But she's still putting on a show. The side character is trying to stir up trouble again. If she didn't want to prepare the peach cakes, she could have just said so. Why lie and say she didn't know? Does she really think Zhang Linghu will believe her over Xiao Wanner? Am I the only one focused on something else? How dare a mere subject like Zhang Lingzu speak to a princess like that? Isn't it just because he knows the side character likes him, and he's demanding an apology from the princess? The audacity! Why can't the princess apologize? If she had prepared the peach cakes, would Wanner have been sick and vomiting the whole way? That's hilarious. Are you saying Xiao Wanner can't go out unless the princess makes her peach cakes? Zhang Linghu was stunned by my rebuke, momentarily at a loss for words. I sneered and turned to leave. The banquet officially began, and the envoys from the western regions presented a dance. They spun barefoot to the beat of the drums, golden bells tinkling. When the dance ended, the lead envoy clapped and laughed loudly. Your Majesty, what do you think of our western regions? Does the Celestial Empire have any dance more marvelous than this? Let's skip those soft and flimsy court dances. This subject has grown tired of them. Everyone present could hear the provocation in his words. Your Majesty, I have heard that Princess Yun's dancing is extraordinary. Why not have the princess perform a dance for us? The speaker was none other than Xiao Wanner. The side character's dancing is extraordinary. Isn't this just setting her up for a fall? Everyone in the capital knows Princess Yunnan is an airhead with no talents. Xiao Wanner is doing this on purpose, isn't she? She just wants to see the side character make a fool of herself in public. I don't like the side character, but Xiao Wanner's behavior today is really unbecoming. If the side character dances poorly today, the Celestial Empire will lose face because of her, and she will become a traitor to the court. What do you mean Wanner did it on purpose? As the princess of the dynasty, facing provocation from a foreign envoy, shouldn't the side character have stepped forward on her own? She even needed Xiao Wanner to speak for her. Who's the real princess here? The side character enjoys the honors and treatment of a princess, but doesn't want to contribute. There's no such thing as a free lunch. I frowned slightly and looked over. Xiao Wanner was a commoner. How did she get into this banquet? The hall fell silent as all the ministers turned to look at me. I rose gracefully. Imperial brother, your sister is willing to try. I danced with a sword, moving as the music began. The long sword left its sheath, perfectly synchronized with the melody. The sharp blade cut through the air with a clear ringing sound. As the music reached its climax, my sword movements grew faster, the glint of the blade drawing perfect arcs in the air. When I landed, the tip of the sword was pointed directly at the envoy. Cold sweat instantly beaded on the envoy's forehead. The princess's sword dance is exquisite. This subject is thoroughly convinced. The Celestial Empire is truly full of talented people. He had no doubt that if this had been a real duel, he would already be dead. I slowly sheathed my sword. You flatter me. The sword dance of the Celestial Empire emphasizes the unity of form and spirit, the fusion of sword and intent. While it may not be as dazzling as the dances of the Western regions, it has its own unique charm. Sangao was dumbfounded. He never imagined I could dance with a sword like that. Zhang Linghu, who had been drinking morosely, completely forgot his wine as he watched me dance, a smile touching his stern features. Is this really the side character? Her sword dance has the heroic spirit of a general going to war, yet retains a woman's grace. It blended perfectly with the music. I'm speechless. Zhang Lingzhu's cup fell to the floor, spilling wine all over him, and he didn't even notice. He was completely captivated by the side character. In the past, Sanjiao's eyes were filled with disgust whenever he saw the side character. He found even looking at her repulsive, but just now he was staring at her without blinking. The emperor was greatly pleased. Excellent. Princess Yunnan is a heroine among women. Bestow upon her a bushel of South Sea pearls, 10 bolts of cloud brocade, and a pair of imperial gold hairpins. Thank you, imperial brother. Xiao Wanner looked at Zhang Linghu and San Xiao. Both men's gazes were fixed on the slender figure in the center of the hall. A vicious glint flashed in Xiao Wanner's eyes, and she gritted her teeth in anger. The envoy walked to the center of the hall and knelt on both knees. Your Majesty, this humble subject has one more request. On behalf of our Khan, I ask for the hand of your esteemed Princess Yunnan in marriage to be our great consort. I implore your Majesty to grant this request. I froze on the spot, completely rigid. The words marriage alliance struck me like a bolt from the blue. Xiao Wanner hadn't expected such a pleasant surprise, and a smile curled her lips. Xiao frowned and rose to his feet in anger. You must not, your Majesty, Princess Yunnan is of noble birth. How can she be married off to the remote frontier? The envoy looked at Sangao with displeasure. His Majesty is wise. As long as we can marry Princess Yunnan, our Khan is willing to offer 5 cities, 100 Forgana horses, and 1,000 caddies of fine jade. Sangao's face instantly darkened, his words sharp. The western regions are harsh and desolate. How can they be worthy of Princess Yunnan? Besides, Princess Yunnan already has a Prince Khan. Before he could finish, the emperor interrupted him. Princess Yunnan is from a family of esteemed ministers, and her father rendered immortal service to our dynasty. We have long decreed that she shall be our empress. It is only because Yunnan is still young that the enthronement has been postponed. Did Xiao just try to say he was the side character's prince consort? Hearing that the side character was to be sent for a marriage alliance, both Zhang Linghu and Xiao showed worried expressions. I didn't expect Xiao to be the first to stand up and object. He's the one who hates the side character the most. The emperor just directly named the side character as his empress in front of all the ministers. This way he doesn't have to send her away for a marriage alliance, and he secures his own position with her. The emperor's words fell, and the entire court was stunned. Sangao looked at me with utter disbelief, and I stared back at my brother equally dumbfounded. The envoy sighed lightly. So that is the case. Then this subject will return and report truthfully to the Khan. After the banquet, Zhang Lingyu anxiously stopped me. I know His Majesty did that to get you out of a difficult situation. Let's go to him right now and clear things up. As long as you don't make things difficult for Xiao Wan'er, and are willing to let her enter my household as a wife of equal standing, we can get married immediately. Is Zhang Lingyu insane? He's a mere 7th rank official, and he's demanding that a princess accept Xiao Wan'er as an equal wife. I thought the side character was a useless airheaded princess, but it turns out she can perform a sword dance, and so well at that. She's completely different from the rumors. The side character grew up with the emperor. She's skilled in music, chess, calligraphy, painting, and swordsmanship. It's just that after falling for Zhang Lingsu and Song Xiao, she put all her energy into them and neglected her studies. The side character should just agree. Zhang Lingsu is finally willing to marry you. Don't drag your feet and ruin it. Exactly. Does she really think she can marry the emperor and become empress? Xiao came running over, slightly out of breath, and spoke impatiently. After the Western region envoys leave, I will ask His Majesty to decree our marriage. But you must agree to one condition. You are not to trouble Wan'er anymore. Oh my God, the side character must be over the moon tonight. Both her childhood friends are proposing to her at the same time. Who will she choose? I'm so curious. The side character is definitely going to be up all night, unable to decide who to marry. I think she'll marry the emperor. After all, he already publicly announced she's the empress. Given the unhinged emperor's personality, if she doesn't marry him, she'll definitely be locked in the basement again. I'm not so sure. The side character has always wanted to marry Zhang Lingsu and Song Xiao. Now that they've finally relented, she might even threaten to kill herself to get the emperor to decree their marriage. Eunuch Li emerged with a beaming smile. He had clearly been eavesdropping for a while. Your Majesty, the Empress, His Majesty is waiting for you by the Imperial Lake. Hearing this title, the faces of Zhang Lingsu and Song Xiao turned incredibly sour. Shi Wuan stood before the Imperial Lake, his hands behind his back, dressed in a dark dragon robe embroidered with gold thread. His thin lips were pressed together, exuding an innate nobility and authority. Yunnan, from the day you came to Mother's side at the age of 8, I have loved you. You were so small back then, crying all day long. I even made a kite for you to cheer you up. Do you remember? Of course I remember. Imperial brother made me a gigantic kite that almost carried me into the sky. Luckily, Mother noticed in time, or I might not be standing here today. You also cooked congee for me once, but you added the rice last. I chipped a tooth while eating it. Zyyn. He cleared his throat, not wanting to dwell on those embarrassing moments. After a moment of thought, Shi Wuan decided to confess about the basement. The place you saw when you woke up that day was a basement I had specially prepared. For these past few years you were always by their side. I was consumed with jealousy and more than once had the urge to lock you away. That day when I heard you had gone to find Zhang Lingyu again, I was overcome with rage and ordered my men to bring you back. Yunnan, I want to give you one last chance. If you still wish to marry them, I am willing to decree the marriage for you after the Western region envoys have left. Zuyin's hands clenched into tight fists. I gave him a faint smile. Imperial brother, I've known about the basement for a long time. I am willing to marry you. This is a decision I have carefully considered. Shi Wuan's body visibly froze for a moment. Yunnan, are you truly sure? I nodded and Shi Wuan joyfully pulled me into his arms. All semblance of a mature and steady emperor was gone. The side character really did know about the basement. I felt something was off that day. Although she said she was scared, there was no fear in her eyes. So, the side character has been acting all along. When did she find out? The side character actually chose the unhinged emperor. I thought she would choose between Zhang Lingu and Sangyao, or maybe take both into her princess manner. What's so great about those two? Their condition for marrying her was that she couldn't trouble Xiao Waner. Do they really think the side character can't live without them? Where do they get their sense of superiority? Haha, I'm dying. The greatest hardships the side character suffered in her childhood were caused by the emperor, almost flown away by a kite and chipped a tooth on his kanji. I remembered what Shi Wuan had said in the basement that day. You said I lied to you again. When else did I lie to you? Shi Wuan thought for a moment. In our last life you might find this absurd, but I truly have memories of a past life. In that life I decreed a marriage between you and Zhang Lingyu. I thought you would find the happiness you wanted, but after the wedding, he never once showed you any concern. Later, he even moved out of the manor to start a new home with Xiao Waner. You were melancholic day after day, and your health deteriorated rapidly. You said you would wait for me to bring the imperial physician, but by the time I arrived, you were already gone. That's why I called you a liar. So in this life I was unwilling to let you go. Even if it meant locking you in the basement, I couldn't let you repeat the mistakes of the past. I didn't expect you to be so clear-headed this time, I muttered under my breath. That's all thanks to the bullet comments. Shi Wuan didn't hear clearly. What? I shook my head and rubbed my arms. Nothing. It's getting cold by the lake at night. Let's go. That word made Shi Wuan's heart bloom with joy. What does that mean? So between these two, one has memories of a past life and the other can see bullet comments. Holy crap, I knew it. I was wondering how the side character suddenly got so smart. She really can see the bullet comments. When did she start seeing them? Wait, why can the side character see what we're saying? So the side character didn't choose Zhang Lingsu and San Xiao because we warned her. If there was one person who was happiest about my union with Shi Wuan, it was the Empress Dowager. When she learned the news, she couldn't stop smiling. She immediately ordered rewards for everyone in the palace and personally oversaw all the wedding preparations. I finally lived to see the day Wuan takes a wife. On the eve of the wedding, I returned to my old family manor to await the ceremony. Shi Wuan had kept all the servants from when my parents were alive. The place was spotlessly clean. I went to the ancestral hall to inform my parents of my impending marriage. Just then, a servant came to report that someone had forced their way in. Zhang Linghu, I know everything now. It was Xiao Waner who called back the servant I sent. You never knew about the peach cakes. I was wrong. I shouldn't have thrown you out of the carriage, and I especially shouldn't have made you walk for 5 hours. If you're willing, I will go immediately and beg His Majesty to decree our marriage and make me your prince consort. Sangyao, I've already sent Xiao Waner away. She will never appear before you again. I will also go and ask His Majesty for a marriage decree. As long as you are willing to marry me, I will never take a concubine in this life. I frowned. It's too late. This princess no longer has any feelings for you, Zhuang. See them out. Zhuang was one of Shi Wuan's secret guards. He was the one who had knocked me out that day. Zhang Lingsu couldn't believe I had suddenly stopped loving him. You've loved me for so many years. You can't just stop loving me like that. You're still angry with me, aren't you? How about this? I'll walk for 5 hours too, as long as it will appease your anger. I've already returned the love token Xiao Waner gave me. Can we just pretend nothing happened and go back to how we were? Sangyao even proposed that they could both serve the princess as co-husbands. Shi Wuan, worried for my safety, had surrounded the manor with secret guards. I had them thrown out directly. The manor was finally quiet. When Zhuang returned, he reported to me as if seeking praise. Your Majesty, the Empress, this subordinate knocked them unconscious and threw them in an alley behind the back street. I smiled faintly. Zhuang, you have quite a strong hand. That chop you gave me that day made my neck sore for days. On the day of the imperial wedding, the weather was clear and the sun was bright. Are you kidding me? To marry one of them, the damn side character actually had the emperor threaten them with their lives. The master of ceremonies sang out, "The auspicious hour has arrived." The officials bowed, bells and drums sounded in unison. Offerings were made to heaven and earth, and nuptial wine was shared. Zhang Linghu and Sai Xiao knelt at the very end of the procession. They looked up, watching me walk step by step toward Shiwayan. Their hearts felt like they were being torn apart, their eyes bloodshot. The warmth of Shiwayan's palm came through my wedding gown, and his deep resonant voice sounded. We take the world as your betrothal gift. Today we announce to the ancestral temple, in this life we shall have no other empress, nor shall we take any concubines. The harem shall remain empty for you and you alone. His words echoed between heaven and earth, shocking everyone present. In 100 years, no emperor had ever made such a vow in the imperial ancestral temple. On our wedding night, the dragon and phoenix candles burned brightly, filling the chamber with a brilliant glow. Shi Wuan personally removed my phoenix crown, his fingertips brushing against my cheek, a smile on his lips. I've finally married you. I took out the jade pendant and smiled brightly. Mother said that when I meet the person I want to spend my life with, I should give him this pendant. Shi Wuan held the pendant tightly as if making a promise to me and to my departed parents. He said, I will wear it every day from now on. In this life I will never fail you. He leaned down and a flurry of kisses fell upon my lips. His fingers undid the ties of my wedding gown. The dragon and phoenix candles sputtered, illuminating the dark tide swirling in his eyes. Is there something my esteemed VIP membership won't let me see? Didn't your teacher ever tell you that details are important?